Hello, in the following video we will see how to create section and block previews in Shopify's theme editor. As you can see in a theme like Dawn, every section that comes out of the box has a preview which merchants can use to easily get an idea of what this section is doing. This becomes very useful when a theme has a lot of sections, as merchants don't have to memorize what each one is doing. Instead, they can just look at what is available and based on the previews, figure out if this section is the one they are looking for or not. So now let's create a few sections and see how we can add a preview for them. So I have my theme cloned over here, and I'm going to do Shopify theme dev, pass the environment development flag to use what is in this file over here and run my theme locally. Now that my theme is running, I'm going to open the editor by pressing E. And let's start adding a new section. So now from Visual Studio Code, let's go to sections and add a new section over here and name this highlighted image.liquid. Let's start right away by adding a schema. And let's give this a name of highlighted image. And now let's add a few settings, starting with a setting of type text. The label here will be title, and the ID will be title. Then we will have a setting of type image picker. The label will be image, and the ID will be image. Next, we will have a setting of type text. The label will be button text, and the ID will be button text. And finally, we'll have a setting of type URL. The label will be button URL, and the ID to be button URL. Now let's add a preset here. And for now, let's just name this highlighted image so it appears in the theme editor. Now let's quickly add the HTML here and the liquid code so this renders what we need. So let's do here section, that setting is a title, and then over here, if section that settings that image is different to blank. So if there is an image set, then we will do section that settings that image URL. Let's give this a width of 1000 and a height of 500, and then image tag, and let's give this a class of highlighted image. And actually, let's take this and give this a class of highlighted image title. And let's close this if statement over here. And then if section that settings dot button text is different to blank, and section that settings dot button URL is different to blank, of this, then we are going to render an edge tag. What we're going to do section that settings dot button URL, and over here to the section that settings dot button text and close this. And let's give this a class Actually, no, let's give this a class of button, and instead let's wrap this in a div. Let's give this a class of button container, and instead we copy this here. This is because we will be centering this, so we will give this a display flex in a moment. Now let's see what we see in the theme editor. And in the theme editor now, if I look for highlighted image, we can see here that even though the section exists, we don't have a preview available. And I can add this section, we see nothing, but then if I start adding content, such as highlighted image, and I add one of these images, such as this one, give the button text something like learn more, and put here a URL such as this one. Then the section is rendering its content. We haven't styled it yet, but we can see that it is rendering something. However, there is no preview available. Let's see why is that. So the reason we see no preview over here is because Shopify generates these previews based on how the HTML renders before the merchant has added any value to the settings of this section. So usually it means that whatever the default values are for this section, that is what will control how the preview looks like. So now let's add some default values and see how we can add a nice preview to this highlighted image section. So we have the option over here of using default, and for this one, let's do that. So the title here will be highlighted image. And if I save this and refresh this page, you're going to see that now the preview shows exactly that. So over here, I see highlighted image. However, we can also add values to these settings from the presets. So let's do settings over here. And now let's say that the button text would be learn more. And the button URL would just be a link to the homepage. And let's save this. And now if I refresh over here, you're going to see that I now have the button as well in my highlighted image preview. And for the image, we can use some of the placeholders that Shopify provides. So you can see, for example, over here that this blog post section has these 3 images over here, which look like placeholders, and that is because they are placeholders. So now let's see how we can access them through the sections code. So for this, we're going to be using the placeholder SVG tag filter. You can see over here all the available placeholders. There are the columns, the ones that are just an outline, for example. Over here, you can see in page, this is an outline. And then there are the colored illustrations, such as the one used in blog posts. And over here, you can see how you will use this filter. So you add the name here and then apply the filter. And you can apply a custom class name, and you will see why in a moment. So let's over here take one of these, for example, Hero Apparel 1, and let's go to the code over here. And if this is blank, so let's do an else, then let's do Hero Apparel 1, placeholder SVG tag, and let's give this the same class name that the image has. This way, when we style this section, both will be styled exactly the same, so the preview in the theme editor will look like the image will look once the merchant has added a value for that. And now over here, you can see that we have an image in the preview. Next, let's add some styling to this. So let's quickly add a style tag over here to keep this simple. And let's copy this class. So something like this. Let's just give this a text align or center. Then let's copy this class from here. And let's give this a height of 400 pixels. Let's give this an object field of cover. Let's give this a width of 100%. And then let's copy this class from here and give this a display flex. And I justify content center. Let's save this. And now let's refresh this page. And over here, you can see that this got styled like this. And more importantly, over here, the preview is also styled exactly like this. If I add this preview, you can see that the content is looking exactly like it did in the preview. So over here, I have this placeholder image. However, if I change this and add another image, so in this case, let's add this one, you can see that now the image got updated to use the one that I added over here, and I can update it to be anything else, such as the one that I used above. Now let's see another example, this time with products. So let's head over here, feature products with liquid, and let's add a schema. And let's give this a name of featured products. Let's add a few settings over here. So we will have a setting of type text, the ID will be title, and the label will be title. And then we will have over here a product list, setting of type product list. The ID will be products, and the label will be products. And then let's add a preset over here. The name will be featured products. And let's add a value to this title setting. So title over here will be featured products. Now, how do we generate a preview for this product list over here? So let's go to the theme editor first and let's see how this setting looks like. We are not rendering anything yet, but if we go over here and I add this section, you can see that in the products, I'm able to select a few products from this list. However, how do we add a default value before the before the merchant has selected anything? Well, let's first add the HTML quickly over here. So section with settings of title. Let's add a grid over here. So let's do featured products grid. And let's do for product in section with settings products. And over here, let's close this for loop. Let's add a div. Let's give this a class of featured products. Product. Let's render the image by doing product.featured image. Image URL. A width of 500 and a height of 500. Image tag plus featured products with the image. Then let's add the product title over here. And then let's show the price as well by doing the price on the currency. And let's add a couple of classes to this. So over here, we'll do product title, and over here, we'll do product price. And here we have an error, so let's fix this. And let's also give this a class of feature products title. And let's very quickly style this. So this one over here, we will just align the text to the center, so text align center. Then for the grid, we will give this a display of grid. Then do grid template columns. Repeat 3 and 1 FR. And let's give this a gap of 24 pixels. Then to the feature product image, we will give this a width of 100%, a height of auto, and an aspect ratio 1. And finally, to these two, this one and this one, we will just give this a text align of center inside this. Now from the theme editor over here, if I add this section, I can add a few products and we get them showing in a grid as we specify the code. However, in the preview of this section, we just see the title. We are not seeing a preview of the products, even though we know this is possible, because if we see in the previews that Dawn comes with, over here in something like collections list or featured collection, we see that we have some product previews. So what can we do about this? How can we generate this? Well, let's go to the code over here. Let's do that. So what we will do is that we will add an else to this for loop. So what this does is that when there is nothing to iterate over here, so when this section, the settings of products, is empty, it will enter to this else clause. And over here, let's do for I in and iterate 3 times. So this is a hard-coded loop. We are going to always iterate 3 times over here. And we are now going to copy this, exactly like this, and we are going to hard-code the data. So let's first generate the placeholder ID. So we'll do product apparel and append over here. So we have to put this here and append the for loop the index. If we go back to the documentation over here, we see that we have product apparel from 1 to 4. So we can just do product apparel and start appending the index to get the different product image placeholders. Then over here, we are going to replace all of this with placeholder ID, placeholder SVG tag, and then give this, I don't have to specify class over here actually, we just have to pass it the class right away. For the title over here, we are going to hardcode this by just doing product, actually let's do example product, and for the index, and instead of product price, let's just do this, and then when it is formatted with money with currency, it will look like $19. So let's refresh this page. And over here, when we add the section, we're going to see in the preview that now we have these 3 products placeholder in a grid, looking exactly like they will look if we added them normally over here as we did in the section above. And of course, as soon as I add a single product over here, the code will no longer enter to that else clause, so we will no longer see those placeholder products. So if I select this and save, now we just see this item in the grid. And finally, let's add another section in which we will be using blocks, just so you can see how to generate previews of blocks as well. So I created FAQs.liquid, and let's start by adding a schema over here. The name will be FAQs. And let's add a preset over here with name of FAQs as well. Now over here, let's add settings. So we will have, once again, a setting of like text, the label with the title, and the ID of the title. And now let's add blocks. Let's have a single block over here. In this case, it will be of type question, the name, the question, and we'll have settings for this over here. And we'll have a setting of type text, the label of the text, and the ID of the title. And then we'll have another setting. Let's give this one type of rich text. The label will be answer, and the ID will be answer. And now over here, let's create a div. Let's give this a class of page whip, which in this theme is a container class. Let's over here do section, the settings, the title, and then for block in section.blocks. And over here, let's add a details. And let's use summary. Over here, we'll do block the settings, the title. And then let's add a div over here and block the settings that answer. The details element is used as a way to create an accordion or a collapsible natively in HTML without relying on JavaScript. So over here, if I do for FAQs, we over here see no preview. So let's now add over here settings. The title will be frequently asked questions. And over here, let's have blocks. And we can add a block of type question. And the settings over here will be title, question 1, and then answer. And over here, we'll do Lorem Ipsum. And we have to enclose this in HTML because this is a type-rich text. And now let's copy this block and paste it here and paste it here and just replace this with question 2 and question 3. And save. And now, if I refresh over here and look for FAQs, we see that in the preview, we have now the title and the 3 questions we added. And if I open this, we have these accordions opening accordingly. And as these are part of the preset, we can edit this as normal. So I can change these questions. So question test. I can remove the other ones if I want. I can change the content however I want. These are just initial values to generate the preview and give the merchant an idea of how they are supposed to use this section. So there you have it. This is how you generate section previews in the theme editor. If you found this video helpful, remember to like and subscribe for more Shopify related content, and I will see you all in the next one.